Overnight, Canada suspended trade negotiations with the United States, specifically noting that Trump and his team are not honest brokers. They are not negotiating in good faith with Canada. Surprise! And what this sets into motion are potential massive retaliatory tariffs, because Trump's saying he's going to put a 50% tariff on all Canadian imports into the U.S., and Carney in Canada is saying, well, we're going to retaliate and put a 50% tariff on all U.S. imports into Canada. It is important to know that the United States gets approximately 9% of our food imports from Canada. So the rising cost of food, it's going to go up even more. At the same time, Donald Trump is trying to address the rising cost of beef by removing tariffs from approximately 300,000 metric tons of foreign beef, but he's not sharing where this beef comes from, which does leave all kinds of questions as to the standards this beef meets for things like, inputs into the cattle raising process, standards for slaughter and packaging, as well as any type of testing it has or hasn't been through for things like foodborne illnesses, salmonella, listeria, which we're seeing a hell of a lot more of lately. And this is a major betrayal to American cattle ranchers. It's actually going to further destabilize the beef market and cause many American cattle ranchers to go out of business and have to sell their ranches to larger corporations. Now, how could we have known this would happen? Oh, yeah, because this is all in Project 2025. This is a direct effort to make the lower folks on the totem pole go broke and have to sell to the larger corporations to consolidate the means of production at the top. You hear that, Republicans who are always screaming about communism and socialism? Do you hear that? And this is all happening at the same time that there are massive attacks on our public lands. Big National Park is being bulldozed for a border wall, while Donald Trump is literally having our wild horse and Mustang population rounded up and sold off at a whopping $25 a pop just to be exported and turned into glue in a foreign country. He is selling us off piece by piece. Now, many of you Republican voters consider yourselves conservationists. You hunt and fish. Well, you voted for a New York real estate developer that's never looked at a piece of land that he didn't think should have a golf course or a high rise on it. And the juxtaposition of this all happening while Donald Trump is using our resources in the Department of Justice to win Supreme Court cases that will allow him to continue his $900 million ballroom project. It is a sight to behold. But to the point of this video, there is not an honest economist on the planet that won't tell you Donald Trump is the most interventionist president in the United States history, and probably one of the most interventionist leaders, hate to call the guy a leader, in world history. Republicans used to believe in free market capitalism, but even a tariff by very definition is an interventionist policy. It's taking whatever the free market price of a product is and saying, well, we're going to make it higher so less people can buy it or want to buy it. Donald Trump is reaching his hands into every aspect of our supply chains and breaking shit in real time. And we're already seeing it. Many of you who do the grocery shopping in your home, you're going to the grocery store and you're not finding the particular brand that you usually purchase or a particular item that you like to buy. So you're having to choose an alternative, and you're going to be seeing more and more of this. Think back to 2020 when you couldn't buy toilet paper. Think back to 2021. Biden comes into office and supply chains are still disrupted from COVID and people couldn't find baby formula. Now imagine that tons of these supply chains for tons of products break all at once, because that is what is happening right now. Now, how do you think about all the things it takes for you to live your life in your home, all the types of food, all the types of hygiene products, all the types of medications. So how can you prepare? I'm not telling you to panic buy, but what I am saying is you need to have at least 30 days of everything you need to live, you and your family need to live in your home, because it's about to get much, much worse. So 30 days worth of food in the pantry for you and your pets. There were already massive pet food recalls just last week or the week before, but that has to go through a manufacturing process. And there's a whole pet food supply chain that is going to get broke too. So if you love your pets, you need to think about them when you think about yourself. So 30 days of food for you and your pets and your loved ones. You need to think about medications, 30 days of medications for you, your pets, your loved ones, 30 days of hygiene products for you, your pets, and your loved ones. You need to go ahead and do what you can to have that on hand, and you need to think about water as well, okay? But food, medication, hygiene products are the really big ones, guys, and because you don't know what's going to disappear from the shelves in pretty fast order. Look, if all the shit that Donald Trump is breaking is a shark, a big shark, supply chains are the teeth of that shark, because that is what is going to bite you.